Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you guys for letting me come and talk to you guys today. I didn't realize I was the closer, but here I am. So a little bit about Omni, and you guys probably know most, but 60 hotels. We are currently under development, under construction, and on about 5 hotels right now. We've got one in Boston, 1,000-key hotel, one in Oklahoma City, 600-key hotel, 330-key hotel in Tempe, Arizona. We also have one up in Frisco, Texas, partnership with the PGA, 500-key resort. So we got a lot going on. And this was one of the biggest ones that we had going on as well. So total construction cost on this one, about $160 million. All in, $165 if you include golf. We had quite a bit of work on the golf courses as well. Wanted to just kind of take you through. We got a couple pictures of before and after of the resort. For those of you, show of hands, anybody was here before the renovation at all? I see a couple, not very many. It was quite a transformation before the renovation, and we'll just go ahead and get started. Before the renovation, this is actually a picture we had a rendering done prior to. So anything, let's see if I can use the laser here on this one, on the screen. But basically, from this line over is all new. So this line over was existing. We did quite a bit of renovations there, but we added about 180 keys. You kind of see the headline here. Brand new existing, new hotel tower. We've got on the existing hotel as well. We did not a huge renovation, but pretty sizable renovation. All new windows on the existing rooms, new facade as far as painting, stucco work, patching, repair that needed to be done. The lobby is actually existing, but you wouldn't know it. We'll go through that here in just a second as well. But completely gutted, reconfigured lobby bar, retail spaces throughout the corridor. The existing meeting space was lightly refreshed. I won't say we did a whole lot there, but a little bit of refresh there. We had a new meeting space to the resort, which we're in here. We've got food and beverage outlets. We actually had a oversized 3-meal restaurant. It was about 8,000 square feet. We actually divided that into three restaurants now. We've got a 3-meal, which we call Texas Spice. We've got Nepalese, and we've got Crenshaw. So what was one space is now 3, all served out of the same kitchen. So we kind of try to get a little creative with that. We've got outdoor pools. I'll show you a picture of the before and after. It's quite a transformation there as well. And then we've got the new pavilion that we built here, brand new spa. The old spa was in the existing fitness, so the fitness got bigger. In addition to this, you can't see it here, but over on our Canyons Golf Course, we built a brand new clubhouse, restaurant space over there as well as part of this project. And then the members club, we did some pretty good sizable renovations there as well. We've got new locker rooms. We've got some renovation of some other areas as well. We've got brand new tennis courts over there as well. They were actually just to my right, so they've been relocated, elevated over in that area. And we've got a brand new precast parking garage, exciting. So the guest rooms, again, before and after, we had 309 existing rooms. After everything was done, we have a total of 493 keys. Again, not a heavy construction project, more of a call it FF&E project more than anything. So that before and after there, we're kind of trying to take some of the 90s, early 2000s out of the hotel and get it a little bit more up to date. So again, some more pictures of the lobby. This is probably one of the more dramatic transformations we had in the lobby bar and the lobby itself. Again, a lot of stuff you see here was 70s, 80s, a lot of the obviously early 2000s renditions as well, but really just trying to bring it more up to date. We tried to create more airiness as well. So a lot of we're having trouble when you come to the hotel seeing the outside, the beautiful landscape we have. So we tried to take advantage of that. I'm sure you guys seen throughout. We've created balconies on the back of the lobby as well, and on the bar itself. The next space is meeting space. So you have the old and you have the new. Again, we did light touch on the existing meeting space, but for the most part, it is intact. We thought it was pretty good bones through there, so we didn't do too much to that space. But this was a much-needed space, 14,000 square foot ballroom, a pavilion. We did have a pavilion before, and we'll get into that as well. It's hard to make this out, but if you look up here, this line right here, this is actually the meeting space, the old meeting space. So this is where the lobby used to be, almost looking out onto the pavilion took up the viewpoints of the hotel. So one of the first things we earmarked, so we got to get this thing out of here. We got to open up these views to the backyard. It's beautiful, beautiful views. The pavilion was nice, but nowhere near as nice as the new one we have now. Bigger, more usable, user-friendly. So we were really happy and excited about that. Spa, brand new spa. If you didn't have a chance to enjoy it, you should come back and enjoy it. Fantastic space. Much bigger than what was there before over in the fitness center. And then again, we've built a pool as well, which has been a huge success for us. We didn't realize how big a success. So people come and just hang out here all day, in addition to doing their spa treatments. So here's a picture I was referring to, the old resort pool. A lot of kind of patchiness all over the place, not very consistent. And then now you have the amazing pools that we have now. So we have 3 pools, Infinity Edge pool, and then 2 other pools. I'm sure you guys got a chance to experience some of that as well. Here's the Crenshaw's Clubhouse that I mentioned earlier. Again, it's out on the Crenshaw course, nowhere near where we're here right now, but we've got a restaurant inside, we've got a pro shop, and then the surrounding areas as well. So getting to the meat of the conversation, so challenges and resources leverage. So the problem with the building, we got into it, was a 30-year-old building. For those of you that have renovated spaces, which I'm sure there's quite a few of you in here, when anything 30 years old, you start to run into plumbing issues, pipe issues, facade issues. We ran into it pretty early here. One of the things that we tried to leverage was we had a partnership we developed with Beck. Beck does design build. They have an architectural wing and a construction wing. We decided very early on to hire them, obviously, as the architect. We knew going into it, we probably hired them as the contractor, and we got the right pricing from them, so we went ahead and partnered. But we were able to get in there and look at a lot of this stuff before we got into the meat and potatoes of the overall project cost, so we can actually get all this stuff out in the open and understand what our risks are going into it. So they were a huge help to us, opening up walls, getting behind walls, and seeing what we can't see today to understand what was there. We did find a couple layers of flooring on top of old flooring, which is always fun to deal with. We actually had very little asbestos and mold in this hotel, believe it or not. The bones of this hotel were very, very good shape. We didn't spend a whole lot of money on remediation work when it came to mold and pipe leaks, but we did have a few. The other thing that was a bit challenging in this property, and as you've noticed, there's a lot of ups and downs that kind of comes with the territory here, but the buildings were all built differently in different times. So the main lobby was one of the first buildings. Then there was a gap as you go back towards the main drive, and there was another section, a low-rise, we call the spa wing, 3-story building. So all that was kind of done separately, and then right in the middle they threw a tower up. I think it was in the 80s sometime. So all that happened kind of piecemeal, and when you got into it, you realize all the different building materials that were used and all the different kind of construction types and techniques that were used as well throughout the property was very, very different, very challenging for us. The other thing that we had going through, which I'm sure you guys are aware of, tariffs, freight, time, and escalation. The biggest challenge we had on this whole job, and Beck would tell you that, is labor shortage. I'm sure you guys have experienced it throughout all of your times developing, but construction labor is a huge problem countrywide, but especially here in Austin. I think when they went through the downturn in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, they kept building. Nothing changed. And it's continued the same way today. So again, leveraging that partnership with Beck helped, but we did have our challenges. Certainly had our challenges with meeting schedule here. Budget, quite honestly, was pretty successful. We had very little issues meeting the budget we set out for. I will say we started out with a $100 million project and we ended up 160, but I think it was an evolution of what we wanted to do. We wanted to do more and more and more. We started out with, not touching the spa, renovating it, leaving it in the spot. We ended up saying, you know what, to do a great spa here, which we need to do a brand new one. We ended up building that. Canaan's Clubhouse was on the original list. We thought golf was a huge play here, so we needed to continue to bolster that. The additional $5 million in golf work is in addition to that as well. So point being is that we took it from a $100 million project, 160 knowingly with ownership along the way, but we hit our budget. I think from all indications we hit the quality level we needed, but schedule was definitely a pain point for us. And when I say pain point, I mean, we were talking We finished the project within a month of when we said we were going to. So it's not like it was a 6-month drag or anything like that, but the biggest issue was when we opened, we had a lot of punch still left to go because not only the amount of people, but the quality of labor as well suffered. So we're still going through a lot of the challenges today. Hotel operations will tell you it's been a bit of a pain point for them as well, but it was one of the things that we knew was going to be an issue. We didn't realize it was going to be as big an issue as it is here, as it was here. So a couple other points, unique challenges as well. We had to run a cost analysis on this, and we hadn't made the decision to whether to close the hotel or keep it open. So we went through a very similar transformation at a property in Amelia Island, Florida, at our property there. We bought that hotel in 2010, renovated, reopened it in 2013. We were only closed for about a 3-month period in that hotel. We realized at that time it was probably too short a duration, so we wanted to go into this with a little bit more of a mindset of we're going to close the hotel. We actually closed the hotel for an entire year. The problem we had with that, we didn't realize, is when we reopened, we had a big challenge hiring people, huge challenge. Even though Austin is not too far from here, this is far enough away where people didn't really want to come. Blind Salamander was one of our restaurants. We actually didn't even open it day one because we couldn't find the labor to open it. It's a very unique challenge we haven't seen before. We're seeing it more and more on the resort side, not as much on the core hotels, whether it's Boston, New York, Louisville, Nashville. Those guys have been pretty good to hire, but here's been a big challenge, and it was kind of eye-opening. We've got another similar renovation getting ready to happen at our Homestead property, and we're going through the same challenges. Do we close? Do we stay open? The challenge there is Homestead is 2.5 hours from any civilization at all. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. So you lose that core people, you're not going to get them back. So that's the thing we're trying to work through. The challenge is you're probably going to lose more money you're going to make during that time period. But the question is it worth it to keep the employees? And we think it is. The other one of the challenges is connecting the new tower to the existing structure and make sure the renovation felt as good as the new space. So one of the things we learned at Amelia Island when we did that renovation is when you have an old product, guest rooms, we did not renovate those rooms. What we didn't, I think we knew it would happen, but we didn't realize to the extent. We created we kind of competed against ourselves when it came to price point. We had, nobody wanted to stay in the old rooms. So when we did the renovation here, we made it a point that when we renovated, we wanted to renovate the old rooms inside and out. So I think we did a pretty good job where you can't really tell where the old and new started and stopped. We didn't take it as far maybe as we could have on the rooms, but we kind of said, those rooms, the old rooms are a little bit bigger as well, so we thought maybe that was something that was more of a competitive edge for that grouping as well. Of course, anybody that's done business in Austin knows permitting is always an issue. Very big issue here. It's actually interesting. This is outside of the jurisdiction of Austin, but they still kind of grab onto it when it comes to environmental issues, and they have plenty of them here. It took us, we purchased this property in 2013. We started right away on design. We didn't break ground until 2017, so it took us 4 years from starting design to breaking ground, and most of that was the permanent issues that we had. If it wasn't for a lawsuit that we inherited, we would have never broken ground on this property. So some interesting facts on all that too. We can sidebar later on that. 100-year floods. Of course, Austin has their issues. We're high enough here, we don't have too many issues, but we learned within 2 weeks of opening, we had a massive downpour, so we learned where all our issues were, and we were able to fix those pretty quickly. Fire alarm systems, again, I want to get into the minutia on that, but fire alarm systems is always an issue when you replace a panel and chasing all the issues in those devices, so that was a big issue for us. And then space. Even though you're adding on additional keys, you're building brand new for that, what you realize is that some of the existing old systems are not sufficient anymore. One of the things we found is that the hot water was no longer capable of meeting our needs because we're actually adding additional usage on those new food and beverage outlets that I mentioned. So, in addition to some other new spaces as well, we had to get a little creative. So we ended up going with tankless boilers, hot water heaters basically, on our new units. It's been a huge success for us. Engineering team loves them, and I think it's something we'll probably end up continuing, regardless if we have space or not. It's been such a good experience for us. Again, unique challenges outside of construction. We've got the rapid learning curve as decreased time between turnover and occupancy. I told you we had schedule challenges. If I had the GM up here, he'd be telling you how much of an issue we caused on him and his team when turning over that hotel, this hotel, to his team just because of the construction lag that we had. We had a turnover process that started 90 days out. Reality is they had about 30 days. So we didn't do them any services, and that was lesson learned here. We're not going to do that to ourselves again. We typically don't do that because we don't really typically have that many issues when it comes to schedule. But we know now we should be able to advance notice early enough when we're going to have challenges. We're just going to go ahead and push the opening date. There's no reason to hold on to it. New themes, created new menus, new features, new marketing. The sales team strategies changed as well. This hotel went from a leisure hotel. It's over 50% group here. It's a big group hotel. It's a big play with a 15,000 square foot ballroom and pavilion. We knew we were making that transition, so there's been some additional team members to help us with that. But it's a brand new strategy for our team here now than it was before. And of course, we talked about the job openings. It doesn't matter where I go to in the country, where we go to. Every resort we have has 50 or more openings. I mean, it's systemic across the country. People say, well, we can't find a job. Well, I promise you, we can help you with that. And it's no different here. It's been extremely painful here. But it's all, we talk about technology and how technology can help bridge that gap between labor shortages. Technology is just not there just yet. But I'm hopeful it continues to change. Otherwise, we're going to have to fill a need. If people aren't filling the jobs, we're going to have to fill it somehow. And then we've got maintenance. We got new boiler system, HVAC. In any old building, and this isn't that old, we have quite a few properties that are 100 years plus old that have some systems that are very, very old. The bones of this hotel was actually pretty good, so we didn't encounter too many issues, but it has been a challenge to synchronize all of them up. So you've got old systems, old building, new systems, new building, tying them all together. Our operations team does a very good job at this property with that. New technology, equipment to manage, of course, and then construction warranty punch assist while running an expanded facility. It's been a pain point here. So we've been actively working. We've got a list of, I think when we opened the property, we don't gas too much. I think we had about 1,000 items on our punch list. Not something we're proud of. I think today we're down to 60, so we still have quite a few left. Not nearly as many as we had before, but still unacceptable to be as far as our beginning. I think it speaks to the challenge that we've had finding labor after opening this hotel, but also having labor on the construction side as well. So open up for Q&A. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah, so we have a counter that I wish was up here with me, Laura McCoy, who's our interior designer. We typically hire an art consultant to help us fill this, but this hotel has more artwork than any hotel that we have. So I was going to mention that, but no, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. It's tremendous amount of artwork in this hotel. We used a lot of old artwork that we had as well, but we got rid of a lot, and we ended up sending some archives as well back in Dallas. So yes, tremendous amount of work, and I can get you the name of that person. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just give you the microphone.
We did a light touch on the bathrooms, on the renovated rooms. We didn't do a very, very heavy. I think some rooms got new vanity tops. Some got new, I think all of them actually got new brightware. The tile is existing. The vinyl is new, that's right, in the rooms as well. So we didn't do a very, very hard construction project in the guest rooms. So. I want to say we spent FF&E and construction all in right around, I want to say it's right around $15,000 a key. So not huge, but not light either. I mean, it was a lot of it. Existing tower, yes. What was the cost difference? The $15,000 includes construction. If you net out construction costs, I think you're looking at about just pure FF&E. It's probably about a $4,000 difference per key, $4,000 or $5,000 difference. Yep. So
by the fact that you closed the old tower, you run into where the AHJ said you got to bring everything up to current code
No, we got very lucky. So the interesting part, so our inspector, we had no inspector, believe it or not. The only inspections we had at this property was through the fire marshal. And the fire marshal worked with us and said, if that's not part of the renovation you're not touching, you don't have to bring it up to code. We got extremely lucky. Oh, yes. Yes. So some of the good and bad about being outside the AHA. So, yeah. Yes. Yes.
So you guys spent, obviously, you said a good few years in the planning, a lot with environmental. Was there anything that you guys did not wind up doing that you intentionally had plans for?
Honestly, I can't say that we left anything out. No. I mean, everything. I mean, there was a lot of ideas pitched, but I think we ended up settling through the process. It actually, the process that long actually let us come to a perfect solution, but exactly what ownership wanted at the end of the day. So we're so used to working on time frames of a year design and 2 years to build, year design, 2 years to build. That's typically the process. Here it was 4 years, and we're going, what do we do with the time? And it was to get everything perfect. So, the reality became, from the drawing set to here, and ownership is extremely proud of the way it turned out. So I think there's always tweaks, and we're still working on day 2 stuff. We call it day 2. We're on, day 200 now, but there's always stuff that you can tweak. I think we're talking about adding pickleball courts, so there's stuff like that. Membership is a big component of this property. So membership, which has membership to golf, tennis, social membership, they're a big asset to us. So we're always focused on the guests, obviously, but also focused on them as well. So trying to enhance that a little bit, trying to get more members to sign up and join. But I think for the most part, I think I don't want to say we nailed it, but we did exactly what ownership wanted us to. So.
Nice. Do you have any additional questions from the audience here? No. All right, well, Brett, thank you so much for joining us and for telling the story and for allowing us to inhabit your hotel.